And look at the face of him. His bottom lip is quivering.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso. And who could forget the epic battle between Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6? Two of the biggest icons in professional wrestling at that time, and in hindsight, of all time. Two fan favorites, heroes in the eyes of younger fans worldwide. This was Batman vs. Superman in a wrestling ring. Except it didn't suck. The two, despite being good guys, found themselves at odds following numerous confrontations, which led to the Warrior and Hogan competing in what was dubbed as the Ultimate Challenge. It seemed like the stakes couldn't be raised any higher. Ultimate Warrior, the WWF Intercontinental Champion, set to take on Hulk Hogan, the WWF World Champion, in a winner-take-all match, main eventing at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. The match itself embodied a struggle between two megastars, both men fighting not only for the top prize in the company, but to be the top guy in that company. Each man testing the other's ability and agility, with each man showing they weren't about to call it quits. Hogan and Warrior continued to kick out from moves that would put your average wrestlers to rest, possibly for good. But these weren't your average wrestlers. These were two gods amongst men. Or at least that's how they were viewed at the time by adolescent fans and Vince McMahon. Words cannot properly express how big of a deal this was. This was up there with Hogan slamming Andre or Piper hitting Snuka in the head with a coconut. While this match isn't exactly a wrestling masterpiece, it might just be one of the greatest matches in all of sports entertainment. The immortal Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior created magic in the ring that night, giving wrestling fans a moment they won't soon forget. The match isn't exactly a technical marvel, but it told a story. The up-and-coming force meeting the seemingly immovable object that ultimately ended in a passing of the torch, with Hogan dropping his belt and dropping his spot as the top guy in the Fed. I mean, of course, ultimately, Warrior's time with the belt and as face of the company was short-lived. For as beloved as he was, as great of a character as he could be, and as much star power that he clearly did bring to the table, he just wasn't Hulk Hogan. Following the fallout from the main event for the ages, the Ultimate Warrior not only earned Hogan's championship, but Hogan's respect, and a sort of friendship would spring between the two former rivals, though only on camera. Behind the scenes, their relationship was a lot more, let me be nice and say hostile, but not hostile enough to not work together again if the money was right. Fast forward to 1998. Hogan had left the red and yellow behind, and he was now donning the black and white. No longer beloved by the crowd, he was a hated heel, the leader of the NWO. This was like Captain America becoming a Nazi. Oh wait, that actually happened, didn't it? Hogan was dominating the scene, defeating every good guy and babyface the company had to offer, and even some the company had to sign just to feed off to him. Finally, the Ultimate Warrior made his long-awaited wrestling return to answer his call. And let's be honest, Hogan was pretty much calling on him and him specifically.
And there's not a warrior in the world that I can't beat to get my belt back, because I'd be
unmistakable. It's the Warrior!
That's some foreshadowing you got there. Went right over my head. Subtle. Subtle, guys. Subtle. Warrior would debut with the company to face his old foe, though this time around there was no more mutual respect. Now Warrior wanted to knock Hogan off the top of the mountain and take his spot. Except angrily this time, with anger. And how was Warrior gonna do all this? Well, with the power of Adam West, that's how.
Adam West, Adam West, Adam West, Adam West, Adam West, Adam West.
For some reason, the Warrior we all knew who cut insane, rambling promos that seemed to only make sense to only him and possibly Scott Steiner, this time around was now channeling the 60s Batman, having a Warrior signal and ending promos with "Same Warrior place, same Warrior channel." Way to go, Alt. That's sure gonna connect with the audience going into the millennium. references to a 60s TV show when the internet was still way too new to provide us with nostalgasms. Honestly, it was all downhill from the start, with Warrior's initial promo in the company going on for 15 minutes. I mean, I would ask who was that for, but like, let's be honest, we all know. It's for the Warrior. It's for Warrior. Then there was this whole mirror thing, and that's just way too confusing on too many levels. I can dissect that forever. It's like trying to watch Inception the first time around.
No.
It's Scott Hall!
No, is that the disciple?
That looks like the disciple! The face for the New World Order!
As he stays one step ahead of Hollywood Hogan and the NWO black and white, and
Wait a
there's
minute.
the ring filling up again.
Flickering in!
To me, Warrior! Give me my disciple back, Warrior! This one's for the disciple, Warrior!
What is this? The disciple.
Oh, look, he's back! What's up with that?
But what about the match itself? As bad as everything was in the lead into this, the match itself might be able to save the whole thing. I mean, was this a retelling of their classic WrestleMania moment? Was this a sequel we'd never thought we'd see? Well, no, because this was the sequel we never wanted to see. This was the Godfather 3 of matches. Right from the start, right at the beginning, the two just aren't connecting. Sticking to the basics early on, and not really pulling that off all too well. Their first match together would be a match to show a non-wrestling fan to try and get them invested in the industry. This match would be a match you show to a lifelong wrestling fan and try and persuade them to just leave it all behind, just never watch a wrestling show again. Honestly, the only reason I'm still kind of a wrestling fan is because my parents didn't pay for pay-per-view as a kid, so while their initial match was basic, it was done well, and the chemistry between the two was apparent. Here, not so much. Not so much. Even when they're trying to recreate their Mania Classic, they fail completely in execution. Never before have I seen such perfect crisscrosses outside of the legendary debut of the Gobbledygooker. This is wrestling. Everything about this match is as simplistic as it gets for grudge matches. But none of it works. The magic is gone. The chemistry is gone. These two elements are no longer compatible. These are now two chemicals you don't want to mix together. You want to keep them as far away from each other as possible. Because apparently, if you put them together, it creates a bomb. And that's exactly what this match is. It's a bomb. The match plays out like something that wasn't meant to entertain wrestling fans, but was meant to keep the people at WrestleCrap employed. This match could appear in full on an episode of Botchamania. Start to finish, because the whole thing is fucked. I mean, look at this. Hogan takes out referee Nick Patrick, despite the fact that A, he was being very lenient on the rules already, and B, he was the NWO referee. He would have let you get away with murder in the ring, which is exactly what we're watching. Murder in the ring. Now, mind you, it's not the murder of Ultimate Warrior or Hogan, but the actual assassination of wrestling itself. How is it possible two of the all-time greats look this green? I know, I'm not fit to lace Hogan or Warrior's boots, but by the looks of it, Hogan and Warrior aren't fit to lace their own boots. Their timing is just consistently non-consistent. It's not only off, but at no point in this match was it ever on. At one point, the NWO interferes, and just wow, all of that is just... it's awful. Even the pin attempts in this match somehow look pitiful. It seems like neither Hogan or Warrior even wanted to be in this match, and they were being paid thousands of dollars to do it. But do you know who definitely didn't want to be out there? The crowd. At one point, Ultimate Warrior turns into a Sonic the Hedgehog lich. What do you say to this, you know? This is quite possibly the most disappointing display I've ever seen two Hall of Famers partake in. I don't even have anything to compare this to, it's so bad. If anything, this is what I would compare something else to that sucks. Hogan eventually takes a page out of Yokozuna's book and attempts to throw a fireball in the face of the Warrior, but instead cinches off his own eyebrows. And even the commentators acknowledge Hogan's fuck up. Which, by the way, I want to remind you, they're paid to do the opposite.
Was that like a fireball or something that he attempted to throw at the Warrior? He tried to blind him. He tried to blind him. He was going to burn that man. That's what he was going to do.
Rumor has it that this thing was supposed to be over. But instead, due to that mistake, we're given 5 more minutes. They trade signature and finisher moves as Horace Hogan and Eric Bischoff come to the ring in an effort to rewrite the script. with Horse Hogan hitting Warrior in the back with the chair, a la WrestleMania 2, and Hogan pinning him. And wow, a miserable end to a miserable match. I think my favorite part of this match is the end, not only because it's now over, but we also get to see Hogan for what seems like forever just refuse to acknowledge Horse Hogan. And honestly, Hulk, you really should have done that your whole career. You know, I don't know what's worse, that this match happened, or that this match inadvertently main evented that pay-per-view. Being that this match ran long, though also because of WCW's occasional incompetence, this was the last match viewers got to see, as the main event of DDP and Goldberg was cut from the card by pay-per-view providers, only to be played in full the next Monday on Nitro. Everything about this was a disaster. The story going into it, the match itself, and the fallout from it. And this would be Warrior's last match with the company. Money well spent. This is considered by many to be the worst rematch in wrestling history, and one of the worst matches to ever take place on pay-per-view. This did nothing but give shitty internet commentators, like me, content. And I hate people like me. They're the worst. This was a failure on any and every level. And luckily for both men, their initial match will be what's probably best remembered, with this shit show being nothing more than a footnote in both men's already legendary careers. And a few white non-wrestling fans, this was the equivalent of following up Friends with Joey. Just a complete abomination. Complete abomination. Should have never happened. Like me. Should have never happened. So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free dollar to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that dollar, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTards, oh.